If you think that you need to be in pain to be able to see gains, then for a lot of people, they are not going to want to have that feeling. So it is going to be discouraging for them to attend to the gym. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be debunking the myth of no pain, no gain. But before I start, you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, ding ding ding. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, I will be including timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the section that you want. Now onto the topic at hand. The myth of no pain, no gain has been floating around ever since 1982 when Jane Fonda ended up releasing a series of aerobics videos in which she used the phrase no pain, no gain throughout those videos. And ever since, people have been misinformed and thinking that you need to be in physical pain in order to make gains in the gym. And the truth is, you can make plenty of gains without actually being in physical pain from your workout. Now, the first thing that I would like to differentiate is the difference between actual pain versus muscle soreness. With regard to muscle pain, the typical pain that you would experience the day after your workout, that is DOMS, your delayed onset muscle soreness. And with regard to this, if you are experiencing this, this is perfectly normal. But even with regard to DOMS, you do not need to experience DOMS in order to make gains in the gym. Now, on the flip side, we have actual joint or ligament pain. If you are experiencing joint or ligament pain, then that is a bad pain and you should not be experiencing that. And if you are experiencing joint pain, do not try to work through that. What you want to try and do is go to the root cause of the issue, determine what exactly is causing your joint or ligament pain, correct that, and then once you've corrected that, then you could go back to your regular training program. Now, how exactly can you tell the difference between your typical muscle soreness and your joint or ligament pain? Well, your typical muscle soreness, your DOMS, delayed on muscle soreness that you would experience after a workout, that's going to be more superficial and it's going to be a light burning that you are going to experience. Whereas if you have a dysfunctional muscle pain, that is going to be very different because you are going to experience some swelling, some discomfort. You can even be tender to the touch. So if you do have any of those types of symptoms, that is not your typical post-muscle workout soreness that you would be experiencing. So if you are experiencing that type of pain, then absolutely that is a dysfunctional muscle pain pattern. You would not want to work through that. And then we are going to move on to joint or ligament pain. With regard to joint pain, this is not going to be superficial. This is going to be more deep. It's going to penetrate a lot more than the typical muscle soreness would. And also with regard to this one is it can be tender to the touch. So again, if you are experiencing any of those symptoms, then that is not your typical post-workout soreness. You do not want to train through that. You would want to get to the root of the cause, correct the issue, and then once it's been corrected, then you could go back to your regular training program. Now, with regard to the actual saying, no pain, no gain, do you need to experience pain to actually make gains? And when I say pain, I'm talking about your typical post-workout soreness. And it really depends on your goal. Is your goal to look better, feel better, or perform better? Let's say your goal is to look better, so you want to improve your aesthetics. Well, what exactly do you want to improve? Do you want to build muscle or do you want to lose fat? Because if it is your main objective to lose fat, at the end of the day, you need to be in a caloric deficit in order to lose fat. If you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're in a caloric surplus, you are going to gain weight. And if the amount of calories that you take in is equal to that of your total daily energy expenditure, your weight is going to stay exactly the same. So pain when you are trying to lose weight is completely irrelevant because as long as you are in a caloric deficit, you are going to lose weight. So you do not need to be experiencing pain in order to make gains when it comes to losing fat. Now, what about when it comes to building muscle? This also depends. If you are brand new to the gym, you are just starting out, you can make plenty of gains without experiencing DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness because when you are a beginner, you can make incredible gains in the beginning by training at very, very low intensities. Whereas let's say that you are close to your genetic limit and you would like to get to your genetic limit. At that point, you are going to have to push yourself very, very hard. And yes, you are going to be experiencing some muscle soreness the next day. So if it is your main objective to put on muscle, you do not need to experience DOMS in order to get gains if you are a beginner who is just brand new to training. But if you are somebody who is very high level or close to your genetic limit, then yes, you are going to need to experience some of that delayed onset muscle soreness if you plan on making any improvements. Now, the next goal, let's say your goal is to feel better. So you want to improve your health or improve the function of your joints. In that case, you do not want to experience any pain whatsoever because if it's your main objective to feel better, then pain is going to be contradictory to your goal. With regard to this one over here, every single person is going to have different levels of physiological stress tolerance. Some people have a very low level of tolerance, and some people have very, very high levels of physiological stress tolerance. With regard to stress, there are many different types of stressors, and physiologically, our bodies are incapable of differentiating between those different types of stressors. We have physical stressors, mental stressors, thermal stressors. We have a ton of different stressors, and physiologically, whenever we are under stress, our body is going to secrete the hormone cortisol, which is our stress hormone. Now, one of the things with regard to cortisol is if you have chronically high levels of cortisol circulating throughout your system throughout the day, this can wreak havoc on your system, and this could actually be detrimental to your performance. So if you are trying to improve your health, you would not want to be under tremendous amounts of physiological stress, because that is actually going to hinder your progress. And I'm going to use one of my clients as an example. This was about 10 years ago. I had a woman come to me, and she was experiencing several issues. One of the things was she wanted to lose weight, but she was unable to lose weight. And also she was trying to get pregnant, and she had had 3 miscarriages in the past. And when I ended up assessing her, I was asking her about the type of training that she did, and she brought up the no pain, no gain saying, and she would train very, very intense. And the thing with this woman is I gave her a questionnaire with regard to symptomology to see what exactly her symptoms were and how exactly I could help. And she had pretty much a host of problems with her. And because she was training so hard, she was under so much physiological stress that it was actually becoming counterproductive to her goal of burning fat and also to having a child. Because again, when it comes to losing fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit. This woman was training so hard that she would be absolutely exhausted, and she would only be able to train 1 or 2 days a week, because for the rest of the week, she had to just lay down on the couch because she could not move. So when she came to me, we ended up going really, really slow with this woman. I had her do basic breathing exercises. We had her doing things like basic body weight squats at a very slow tempo, low intensity, where she went according to her breath, and we did very low impact type of activities. And we eventually progressed her to the point where her energy levels ended up improving. And once her energy levels improved and she was under much less physiological stress, we were able to push her a little bit harder. So because we gradually built up to it, her level of stress tolerance had improved. And because her level of stress tolerance had improved, she was able to push herself a little bit harder. But in the beginning, her level of stress tolerance was so low that she was not able to perform the workouts that she was doing without being completely bedridden for an entire week. So if you are somebody who has a very low level of physiological stress tolerance, then you would not want to be experiencing pain every single time you go to the gym, because that is going to be counterproductive to your goal. And then lastly, what if it is your goal to perform better? Well, this is going to depend on your current level of your performance. Are you an amateur? Are you a professional? Are you an elite athlete? Or do you want to be the best in the world? Because all of those different factors are going to dictate how hard you should train and whether or not pain is going to be necessary for you to achieve that level. Let's say you are an amateur, you're brand new, you're just starting out, then in that case, again, just as with somebody starting with training just for the sake of looking better, you are at such a low level that you can make gains by training at very low intensities, and you don't need to push yourself all out. So it's going to be better to train slow in the beginning and gradually build up a tolerance to the point where you could train harder and harder. Then, if it is your goal to become a professional athlete, at that point, then yes, you are going to have to train to the point where you are going to be experiencing a little bit of soreness, but it should be your typical post-workout soreness, nothing like joint or ligament pain. If you are experiencing really, really deep, penetrating pain, then that is not going to be a good pain. Whereas if it's very superficial and it's just kind of your typical burning that you would experience in the muscles after doing a set, then that is perfectly normal. But you should not be experiencing any joint or ligament pain. And then same thing with regard to being an elite athlete or best in the world. If you want to be an elite athlete, top 10 in the world, then yes, you are going to have to train really hard to the point where you are going to experience some typical muscle soreness after your workout. And then if you want to be the best in the world, then that is just going to exacerbate that even more. Because to be the best in the world, you are going to have to push yourself to your limits. And when you are pushing yourself to your limits, then yes, you are going to be experiencing some pain the next day. But if it is just your main objective to either look better by losing a little bit of fat or building a little bit of muscle, no, you do not need to experience any pain. And one of the reasons why I absolutely despise this saying is because this can be very detrimental for people who have never worked worked out before and are looking to go to the gym. Because if you think that you need to be in pain to be able to see gains, then for a lot of people, they are not going to want to have that feeling. So it is going to be discouraging for them to attend to the gym. Whereas if people are aware that you do not need to be in intense physical pain in order to make gains, you can accomplish your goals with just doing moderate amount of activity and then gradually building up a tolerance. It's going to be much easier and much less intimidating for people to go to the gym. So let's all stop using the saying no pain, no gain, because no, you do not need to be in pain to make gains. And yes, you can absolutely accomplish all of your goals without being in any pain whatsoever. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to make more of these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.